Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today I'm going to show you how to use your Instant Pot to make refried beans. And not just any refried beans, the best refried beans you will ever eat. So are you ready for this adventure? Let's get started. What you're going to need is a pound of dry pinto beans. That's about 2 cups. 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 1 small onion chopped, 1 jalapeno, optional but totally worth it, 3 cloves of minced garlic, that's about 1 tablespoon, 4 cups of chicken broth, or you could use vegetable broth or beef broth, whatever you have, 3 additional cups of water, 2 bay leaves, 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's totally optional as well. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your pot set to searing or sauteing. So we're gonna push the saute button right over here. Your pot may say SEAR, whatever it says, push that button. All right, and we're just gonna add the 2 teaspoons of oil to the bottom of our pan. Now, actually, I'm doing a double recipe. So, because we really love these beans, and it's been a while since we had homemade beans in the house, and so I'm like, we're doing this and it's gonna be part of our adventure, because a lot of people don't realize just how easy it is to use your Instant Pot to make refried beans, and they're so good. So we're gonna go ahead and get our onions right in. And if you are using jalapenos, you would get them in right now as well. I'm actually using my homemade jalapeno powder, which I am going to add in when I add in my spices. So if I was using whole jalapenos, I would get them in now when we're sauteing the onions. Now, do you have to saute your onions? No. When I'm lazy, I don't saute them. I just get my beans in and get them started and get them going. Does it change the flavor? Yes, it does. Because the act of caramelizing these onions releases the sugars in the onion, and it is a better flavor. So take a moment, caramelize your onions, you'll be happier for it later. All right, and once those onions start to take on some color, so they get brown around the edges just a little bit, add in your garlic, and we're just gonna cook it for about 30 seconds, no more. I say it before, I'll say it again, you definitely don't wanna burn your garlic. Right, and after 30 seconds, we're gonna add in all of our spices. So I'm gonna put in my dried jalapeno, my bay leaves, everything else, just all the spices. They all go in, and we're just gonna give that a good stir real quick just to toast them just slightly. And then we're gonna get our broth in right away. And we are gonna scrape up any of the fond that remains on the bottom of the pan from cooking those. And we're gonna also add in all of the water. Give that a good stir. And before you add in your beans, it is very important that you rinse them and sort them. So a lot of people don't understand why you might want to rinse and sort your beans, but you can actually find rocks inside your beans and some beans that just are unsavory. So I kept back my beans so that you could see the ones that I chose to leave out, and they're just like discolored and misformed, and they just probably would be bitter, and so I definitely want to take those out. This time I did not find any rocks in my beans, but I have found rocks in my beans. So when I put them in my pot, I will sort again, even though I've already sorted once. So I'm going to lift them up and I'm going to put them in my hand, and I am going to just let them fall through my hands as I look at them, because I have found that sometimes, even though I have rinsed and sorted, a bad bean still makes it through. One bad bean spoils the whole bunch. Well, not really, but sort of. Now, there's a dark bean there. This one feels okay, but I'm just gonna discard the dark ones. And there's another one that I missed, see? All right, once your beans are all in there, let's give it a good stir. Now we are gonna put our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure Mr. Walter here is on sealing. Walter is a steam diverter. It is an absolutely fabulous tool when he blows, when you open the steam valve, steam comes out of his mouth. He's fun. I've had him for quite some time now. All right, now we're gonna push cancel. We're gonna do pressure cook, and we're gonna move it up to 45 minutes. And we're just gonna let it go. At the end of 45 minutes, we're gonna let this natural pressure release for 25 minutes before we move on to the next step. All right, welcome back. It's been a little over 25 minutes, as you can see here. So we're just gonna push cancel, and we're gonna release any remaining pressure with Walter here. All right, once the button's down, it's safe to open your Instant Pot. And inside, you will see the most delicious beans you will ever have at home, ever. Maybe even the most delicious that you'll ever have, ever. Now, sometimes I put bacon in these, and today I did not because I had a mild forgetfulness. I do have bacon in my refrigerator, but that's okay. It's okay. You make the beans with what you got and you enjoy it. Now, the first thing I want to do is find those bay leaves. And that's because they don't really blend very well. So we're just going to take them right out. And there were 2 or 3 or 4, I think. I think the recipe called for 2, so there should be 4 because I doubled it. All right, now that the bay leaves are out, what we're going to do is we're going to remove some of this liquid. And the reason is because when you start to blend these together, you want to be able to control this consistency of your refried beans, because we're not actually going to fry them again. We could, but we're not, because there's no need. So that's about 3 cups of liquid, and I'm gonna check in there. That might be just the right consistency for our family, but I'm gonna go ahead and take out 1 more just in case, and I'll set it on my cutting board. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to use the immersion blender, and we are going to blend up all of these beautiful beans. And when I feel like I need to add a little bit more moisture, I have it right here to add back in. All right, and before I turn it on, get it into the pot so it doesn't spray hot liquid everywhere. Right now I'm just gonna check to see how we're doing as far as beans go. And it looks like, oops, I might have left just a little bit too much water in it, but it's okay because they're still gonna be amazing beans. They're just a little bit more traditional in their texture. That's fine. We'll still eat them just the same. Oh yeah, that is looking pretty good. Let's taste them. They're hot. Ooh wee, but are those good? Homemade refried beans, you guys. There is no comparison to the store-bought stuff. Perfect amount of salt because I get to control it. Perfect amount of seasonings, again, because I can control it. And the perfect texture, that's up to you. Now, as you can see, mine are pretty runny, but that's okay because that is perfect for our household. Usually I like it to be a little less runny than that, but if you have ever been to a Mexican restaurant and had beans that are kind of very loose and have cheese and all the sour cream and everything over the top, this is the texture of beans you probably got. I'm interrupting myself. Yes, those beans were a little runny looking, but as they cooled, you will see here that they are the perfect consistency. And I am very pleased with how much liquid I left in that pot before I blitzed them up. And they are truly the best consistency for refried beans, for bean burritos, for absolutely anything. And the taste, refried beans are so delicious. I can and will easily eat this whole bowl. They're so good. And because they're homemade, no preservatives, they're everything that I put in, so I know that they're good. All right, you guys. Well, if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. So if you got one for me, leave it in the comments below. I look at all my comments, I read them, I debate on whether or not I think that I can do your ideas, And then sometimes you see them on the channel and sometimes I just do them and you don't get to see a video, but I appreciate all of your suggestions and I do hope you'll give me some because it's always fun to see what you guys would like to see. Anyway, I will see you on the next adventure. Bye.